Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Necessity dictates that I control myself today. Necessity dictates that I cover all this news and give you a report on what's happening. But I don't want to just focus in on the specific little nodules of horrifying, metastasizing gangs of different control freak groups eating out our substance, as the Declaration of Independence bemoaned. I want to talk about humanity in crisis. I saw a study 2 days ago about television lowering IQs and motor skills in children. In fact, will you reprint that for me, guys? Yeah, they're turning into zombies. And this is not just some accident of the industrialized world. This has been decided to accentuate this slouch towards immorality so that people are more easily controlled. And I know that most of you understand that, but it was just hitting me this morning how you've got people that are hardworking, smart, informed, know we're in a crisis, who are a minority, and then you've got a majority that don't trust the system and know it's corrupt, but just don't seem to care and think it's funny and have decided to roll over and die. But just because you've probably got 60% of the population in the West that's decadent and think it's cool to give in to tyranny doesn't mean the rest of us then have to stand down and be run over. The New World Order does not have a galactic license or a universal license to enslave and persecute goodness. And so just because a lot of other people are hypnotized by evil and want to bow to it does not mean that I'm going to bow to it. But in the process, we cannot tear ourselves apart. I mean, I get crazed, ladies and gentlemen, now, because this stuff is just, it's all coming true, just like I said it would, because I was reading their own documents. But there's the realization of, man, they're really going to carry all this out. And there is a horror to being right and a desperation. And that's the only reason this broadcast is successful, is because I am desperate. And that truth telegraphs over to people that I realize in a natural response how crazy this is, and I'm able to shake some zombies out of their trance. But then I realize I'm not upset enough. Like, should I screw around and engage in satire and joke around a little bit? We all need gallows humor. I know it soothes my soul to do it, but it's more poignant and focused and powerful when I just tell it like it is, straight and calm to people, which I can do better than anybody, but I hardly ever do it because I'm so tortured, and I know you're tortured by the over-the-top bizarreness of corruption and evil and how it just seeks to pull down all that's beautiful, strong, and good. You marvel at it. Like John on the island of, what was it, Patmos, marveled at the beast. And I have stared so long into the abyss that that it's like both sides are coming together. And even though I oppose the system, I know it and know it's dark logic. And it's just bizarre to see the public operating like self-propelled stomachs, mindless jellyfish, two-legged bipedal amoebas, having no idea how fantastical reality is. My wife said it in such a crystallized way this weekend. She looked out the window Friday night, and we could see the moon through the window and the trees blowing in the wind, and she said, it's like we're on a spaceship. And I said, we are. We're live. We're going in hot worldwide, head up against the technocrats. We're aware of their operation. We're contacting humans on a planetary scale that want to be free and have a future. And the disease of liberty, the virus, as the globalists call it, is spreading and will not be stopped. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get into all the off-the-chart incredible news here today, and we have Dr. Mercola joining us about Coca-Cola running print and TV ads saying there's no health dangers from aspartame that's in Diet Coke and thousands of other products for that matter, and that it's actually going to make you skinny. They don't care that there are literally scores of scientific studies out this year. CBS News and others have reported that it destroys basically your pancreas and gives you diabetes and makes you obese. I mean, just type in aspartame obesity. I mean, that's been known forever. The fattest people you see, 400, 500 pounders, almost always have a Diet Coke in their hand or a Diet Dr. Pepper. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Did you know my great-great-grandfather named Dr. Pepper in Temple? He was an advertising executive and owned newspapers. Was his name William Gresham? And it was a little factoid I forgot about. Side issue, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get into all the news here, but what is important for everyone to know here is that you are seeing a scientific technocracy. And I know I say this every day, but I was on Mancow's show this morning, and he's a smart guy, but he was asking me to quantify that. You have a ruling globalist elite that controls Europe, the United States, England, and most of the world. And then they're imitated by the communist Chinese and the Russians, but they don't do it as well. They want to be the New World Order when they grow up to be big kids. But to a certain extent, China is actually merged with the Anglo-American system. We've had top geopolitical analysts on to talk about that. The Council on Foreign Relations admits that. That's what's so frustrating is these globalists think you're so dumb. They admit about 97% of what they're doing. And they don't even really couch a lot of it in thinly veiled reports they put out. It's not really veiled at all. I mean, the PNAC report put out a year before 9/11, Rebuilding America's Defenses, said we need giant terror attacks to kill around 3,000 people. It actually says that. They even get it down to the exact number. I don't know how they did that. Or just a lucky guess. I don't know. We need giant terror attacks, a new Pearl Harbor, whether real or manufactured, to create this global government and basically have the technocracy take over. And then you realize it's not like the technocracy is just going to, you know, dumb down and disenfranchise the poor third world. That's bad enough because you instinctively know, well, if it happens to them, it's going to happen to me. That's why you have a moral programming to have empathy. It's not really because, according to their view, that you're a good, loving person. It's that in predatory species, you have hard-wired programming to not kill members of your own group, to only go out and engage in predatory activity against designated prey animals. But the globalists have designated 99.9999999. We've done the math of the 6,000 global superclass in their own numbers. It was 0.000000026. Not the 1%. The globalists want to wipe out the 2%. Okay, that's the real number. Because it used to be, you know, the 10% just a few decades ago in the West that had the money. That's all being dissipated, transferred, destroyed. And when they've got that taken out, you're just going to be worrying about getting your next meal. You're going to be worried about getting your welfare check. Even if you work all day, you'll get a supplemental check that allows you to live. It's all been actuaried out. This is collectivism. And then you're never going to worry again about being uppity with the system. You will do whatever they say. You will work in the robot factories, on the robots that are building the robots. You will work as a assistant to the robots in the combat field. You will work as a secret police officer, disappearing people. You will do whatever because it's all set up to where that's the only way you can survive. And they basically, like a funnel, shunt free societies into less and less free paradigms in the name of survival and security. And then they only shunt that down into smaller and smaller funnels as that expands and accelerates. And it is the end of humanity. I mean, they tell the average professor we're going to get rid of 80% of people for the earth. But you'll be allowed to survive and, take part in the new development of the superhuman class that'll merge with machines. Then you get up higher level and they're like, well, actually, we need to get rid of 90% or so. Because, just any amount of humans is bad. And then it can they could get into other groups later and then oppose our plan. And then that would stop the wonderful world we're building from happening. So it needs to be 90%. And then you get into higher level globalist areas and they go, actually, we just want a few million people. And they aren't even going to really be people. We're going to be living forever. And you're still going to want to have some children. So we've done the math on that. We'll repopulate up to 100 million or so and stop at that point if you choose to have children as a member of the elite. So we need to go ahead and move that down to a couple million first before we build the new civilization. And this is in all their publications. I mean, they're going to kill almost everybody. And they're just getting everybody drunk on dead culture, drunk on being decadent, nihilistic, and not caring, drunk on all the poisons. The brain waves are lowering, the IQs are plunging, the death rates are exploding. I mean, all the numbers are there. Like if the Western world was a patient, all the life signs are going down. We're going into a coma, and I'm sitting here along with the rest of humanity that's awake, a little sector of the brain, desperately going, this isn't a dream, folks. Get out of the dream. Get out of the trance. It's like one of those dreams where you can't wake up, and we're here saying, no, this is real. This isn't a dream. You're in a hospital bed. You're being bled right now. And they're getting ready to fully gut us and take our organs, basically. You got to wake up. And then there's this thought process in the group collective mind and the culture of, well, there are too many of us. And we do hurt the earth. And, I don't like poor people. And I don't like the minorities. And they don't like me either. And the media plays us off against each other. And, or if you're a, quote, minority, well, the government's my friend. I want the resources. It's my only avenue for success. I want it to be bigger. And so we're all having this internal cultural debate with each other while we're on the bed having our blood drained. I mean, it's questionable if we can even reverse what they've done. God knows what they're putting in these vaccines. What we know is deadly enough. Hormones to reduce fertility, reduce IQ, sterilization, cancer virus, cancer plaques, embedded, triggered at hormonal decrease levels when you get, I mean, it's just all been actuaried out. I use the word actuary because it's all battle planned. And I'm sitting here going, my God, look at this battle plan. And they have newspapers make jokes yesterday. I saw one. Alex Jones thinks they're going to build an off-world space station and then destroy the Earth. No, I said the elite have built underground bunkers and facilities for when the bioweapons get out or they release them or whatever happens. The Adam and Eve Center's on record. That's what Dr. Strangelove's about, 1964. I mean, that's on record. The U.S. has spent more money than all other governments combined on COG, continuity of government, underground bases, and it's for less than 1% of the population. I know generals who aren't going to be given access, retired generals to the facilities, and they just know about them and start almost crying when you mention it. Everybody just wants to go play golf and just have a little bit of fun before all this happens. Who knows what's going on? Listen, I'm not going to sit here and play games with these people, okay? I mean, this is horrific what we're talking about. And so all the other window dressing, we'll cover it, it's all important news, is only to understand the psych warfare program going on. And no one is more brainwashed than the people working within the system. That's why they're the easiest to wake up. You go, but I thought they're the most brainwashed. They're under the most hardcore oppression and manipulation and surveillance and control, and they know it's a lie, and they know it's predatory. And it doesn't make sense to them why this is happening until they hear our broadcast, and then I tell them where the source documents are, and I don't tell them what to think. I just say, hey, open that door, and this is what you're going to find. And they open it, and they come back, and they go, it's worse than you said. And I go, I know. Can words describe what you've seen? No, they cannot describe. We've got to warn people. Exactly, ladies and gentlemen. But our biggest problem is people that just say, well, humanity is done, and so what? That's just the way it is. Or the big fake Christians that just say, well, it's the end of the world tomorrow, so why should we do anything? Well, even if it was the Antichrist and all this stuff getting ready to happen, you're not going to warn people? You're going to go into a building that's a government 501c3 or 50c8 or whatever? The church is the people. It's not that building. You're going to go in there and hear some government toady tell you do what the government says every sermon? And by the way, most of these preachers, these aren't even actively evil. They are scared now and have been told do this. And they're having weekly meetings, you know, with the FBI now. We're all infiltrated. It is a scientific takedown, okay? And I just want to tell the FBI and all of you out there, you're dead, your kids are dead, everybody's dead. And you already know that. A lot of you probably already got dying kids. You're going to have more. Your wife's going to die. You're going to die young. And you could stop being a coward and admit I'm right and decide what we're all going to do about this, or you can keep playing patty cake with the devil. We'll be right back with the massively important intel across the board. Stay with us. Let me finish my technocracy breakdown briefly, and then when we come back, I'll get into the whole divide and conquer. Oprah Winfrey saying it's racist. Somebody wouldn't show her a $30-something thousand purse. The rodeo clown, sensitivity training, Homeland Security investigations of it now. I told you that was coming. This is the criminalization of free speech that's going on. How it ties into what's happening with 19 shocking examples of how political correctness is destroying America versus the real liberties we're losing. And when everybody hypersensitive, imagining slights or obsessing over slights selectively with the federal government, that's really the global government acting as the arbiter. But speaking of the technocracy, you guys can search engine this. I meant to tell you during the break. Type in the Marshall Plan, wired.com. And it's like a 10, 11-year-old article, but it showed the then 90-year-old futurist who'd been there since the 40s, the head Pentagon futurist. And there it is, the Marshall Plan. For 40 years, the man the Pentagon insiders calls Yoda has foreseen the future of war, from battlefield bots rolling off radar-proof ships to GIs popping performance pills, and that was before the war on terror. Now, this guy is tied into another group of people, and you might want to go read his writings from the 1950s because it's everything that Starship Troopers and all that's based on. When you see Skynet and you see the robots and all that, that's one of his plans from the 70s. And most of what he talked about has now been set up. And then they plan to set the rest of it up. So let me tell you what they're doing. Now, I knew this, but I'm on a ski boat last night with Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs. Every once in a while I get some R&R, so I went out with my friends. They took me out on the boat. Went out with Shane Steiner and his brothers Sid and Bobby, their dad, who had a great time, rope swings, surfing. You know, I'm not good at it, but they were doing it all great. Biggs jumped right on and was surfing, you know, without the rope behind the boat in the wake of it. He was a surfer before he joined the Army. And while we're watching Rocker, 9-year-old do backflips and everything over and over again, wakeboarding, I look over to Biggs, and I said, hey, did they drug you guys? Because I already know everything they're basically doing. A lot of them have already had microchips. A lot of them already had brain chips. That's highly classified. I had some family tell me about it about 6 years ago, and then afterwards called and said, do not ever talk about that again, and I'm in a lot of trouble over even you. And I didn't say who told me, but he said it didn't matter. They figured it out. They got brain chips. I mean, probably 30 years they've been testing them on troops, but I mean, now a lot of the Special Forces people have brain chips. They have chips in their eyes. It's incredible, ladies and gentlemen. And you can go read Marshall talking about it 30, 40 years ago. But Marshall said we've got to turn them into biological androids, the troops, before we finally get rid of them and then bring in robots. And that's why they're going to put women in now and wreck it all and destroy the performance, just like they're bringing in government-run health care. They've got to wreck the old health care first before they get rid of humans entirely. And by 2020, all the aircraft will be non-human, all the combat aircraft. 2025, no more humans in combat, other than to have a few humans with attack robots at a distance just to make sure that nothing malfunctions. And in the future, a pilot on a plane, this has already happened to a certain extent, the pilot unions have said this, will be like a ceremonial toilet attendant. They'll just be there almost as like a PR person with a hat that comes and talks to people and sits there. And already that's why they're having more crashes, the pilots have said, because everything's remote control already. Autopilot taking off, autopilot landing. They don't know what to do when there's a problem or when the computer didn't foresee something. So the point is, I'm sitting there and Biggs goes, yeah, they'd have the Russian helicopters, and I went and looked it up last night, and there it all was, deliver us the drugs, and we were ordered to take them. He goes, a lot of it, we didn't know what it was, but it was like, a lot of it was Percocet. And they were priming them all to become opium addicts when they got out. And then they would take them off the Percocet, and then everybody would want the opiate, and they'd go, well, we're going to test for Percocet, but there is opium. Because he didn't understand it. I was explaining it all to him. And he said the helicopters would land, and they basically told him, we don't want you to have any pain or feel bad what you're doing. They were going into whole villages and, you know, wiping people out and stuff. And so they were putting them on huge dosages of painkillers without even being hurt, just to addict them to then have leverage over them. Now, that's nothing. They give the special forces amnesics after. You know, he was just, you know, regular Army and airborne. But the point is that, and again, I already knew more than he knew, but I was hearing it from his perspective, how they would send in these CIA doctors and just drug all the troops. I mean, that's the New World Order, folks. We are live, broadcasting worldwide, cheerfully throwing ourselves into InfoWar combat up against the enemy, daring them to smash us flatter than a pancake to awaken the rest of the slaves out of their sleep. Because if our destruction will awaken like a great drum, a great warning drum, a great bell being struck in the heavens, as we come in like a shooting star falling to earth, then it is worth it, ladies and gentlemen. We're here, ladies and gentlemen, Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we return weeknights, 7 o'clock with InfoWars Nightly News, which is subscription-powered and driven. And Operation Sleeping Giant, 11 memberships for $5.95 a month. One membership, you can share your username passcode with 11 people who can log on simultaneously. And unfortunately, most people don't use the membership all the time when you give it to them to see all the films and other films and books and high def and the nightly news live and everything else. And archives, commercial-free audio, video of the daytime show, and an alternative to the censors on YouTube and the rest of it. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't end up using it all the time, so you could probably share it with 20, 30, 40 people. And then if you get locked out sometimes, hey, that's the good news. It means people are using the membership you shared with them, so go get another $5.95 membership. You better vote with your dollars now to support people that are scientifically aware of what's going on, but are physically and spiritually motivated to resist tyranny. That's what we need, is the right combination of people that have general knowledge of the world, who realize that they want a future for humanity, and that's what's going to fulfill you. If people knew the way I felt, if people knew what it's like to be aware and informed and understand the world and to be helping humanity, it is the most empowering, fulfilling thing you can possibly imagine. Having all the best, you know, looking girlfriends. I mean, I had probably 7 different dates a week if I wanted them, you know, back when I was 19, 20, 21 years old. Going to the cool parties, you name it, none of it was fulfilling. Because it isn't fulfilling. Fulfilling is a wife you love and children you love and you stand with. Fulfilling is building good things that help other people. Fulfillment is working hard. Fulfillment is being honorable and people knowing you're honorable. That's why they always attack my honor and always say I'm a backstabber, I'm a liar, I'm corrupt, I'm this and that, because the system knows I'm for real, and they're afraid other people might emulate what we've done. Not that we're perfect. My work is dirty rags before the Creator. My point is that the idea of being honorable, if it ever catches on again, folks, that's it for the New World Order. We are entering the age of dishonor, of betrayal, of backstabbing, of arrogant narcissism, of degeneracy, of sadists who enjoy persecuting the innocent. We are entering an artificial system of less and less resources, when we have unlimited resources with the technological systems that have been suppressed. Nearly unlimited. There is a globalist technocratic group who has decided to create a false reality through the culture of death they push to become an artificial habitat for our minds, to have us stand down and not be part of the real world they are constructing and building by siphoning off our energies towards a technocratic, robot, automated system where we will no longer be needed. And now the elites in the castle will not have their ancestral enemy of the peasants without, who they disdain so much. Labor will not just be cheap. Human life will no longer just not be incredibly cheap. It will be a toxic waste to be removed. And they're already romanticizing the end of the civilization, the crossover civilization, and the birth of the new civilization. And I've studied history. I've studied these people. They will not stop killing each other until they've killed every single one of themselves. They are not going to stop. It is their nature. The journey is the destination. The destination that even their high-level Luciferian adepts have been given is not where you're going. And I know many of you say, I don't care. I am joined with it, and I love the power I get out of it. You don't get any power out of what you're doing. You are a reflection of darkness, a reflection of destruction. Only by turning yourself over to life and to creation and the creator of the creation, only by submitting yourself to that, only by asking God into your heart, the real God, not the one in these devil churches, the devil's greatest work, but the real God of the universe that you have a personal relationship, and you don't need some high priest in front of you to bring you through that door. When you have that real relationship, ladies and gentlemen, the chains are broken, and the universe will begin to open up to you if you can handle it. And there's a reason people drug themselves and get into evil, because evil is a lot easier than being good, because being good is far beyond what you've ever been told by the New World Order that it is. It is not some shrieking, violent, coward person who's stupid and naive. It is people on fire with liberty and power, with God shining through us as in his own image, sub-creators. Now, most people turn to evil because you can't handle being really good. Because let me tell you a little secret, ladies and gentlemen. God has knowledge of all this evil. God allowed it to take place to have us in the gladiatorial arena show who we really are for eternity. Because a child not made to work and be honorable will become a spoiled brat, will become a demon. And that's why we're here spiritually, no doubt about it, to be tested in this crucible. So that the creator of the universe can decide if we go on to the next level. And you know it's there, and the devil worshipers and the Luciferians know it's there. And that's why they want to try to imitate God, and that's why they want to try to act like God. And Google says their goal is to be the mind of God, and to be able to make themselves gods and to know everything about everyone so they can cut us off and destroy us physically. This is a bunch of miscreants trying to play creator, setting themselves up just as the devil did. I mean, there's the whole evidence of God and the devil right there. Look at how they manifest all the attributes of Satan. Beelzebub, Shaitan, Leviathan, whatever name you want to give it, all right there. Even if you don't believe in unseen forces in this universe, as you look out your window at night and see the moon rising above the trees and distant nebulas and stars on a orbiting rock with a molten center around a huge star, out on the edge of a galaxy staring into eternity, and you'll let some programmed trendy tell you that because you have deep connection to the universe and that you feel the great eternity around you, that there is no God, that there is nothing unseen, that they know everything. They want to be your priest. They want to be your God. They want to be your ruler. They want to be your controller. They want to take your free will. They are the most blasphemous, disgusting, filthy, stinking, ugly, just microscopic little devils in comparison to the creator of the universe, and you worship them. You bow to them as they attack everything good, the family, as they attack the woman, as they attack the children, as they attack the father, as they pull down everything that's good, because it is ugly in their eyes, because it's not their creation. And then all of their creations are ugly and twisted and aren't even creations. They are nothing but abominations of what was already set in motion. The fruits of the New World Order are hell and death and destruction. The fruits of the New World Order is mass genocide, not just against individuals, but against cultures and ideas and everything that's good. I did not mean to get up here today and start preaching. It's just, it is unbelievable the potential humanity has. And I know that this is the great test we enter. But it is painful to see so many fall. It is painful to see so many who are spiritually blind. It is painful to see so many who have no idea whose hand they have placed their trust. The authoritarianism coming in, the persecution of everything good, all so these control freaks can play God. The whole world given over to the most craven, vicious, spiritually stinking, wicked, damned demons. And by damned, I don't mean that in the Lord's name in vain. They are damned, and they know it. They are damned off from good, not because God even put them there, but because that's who they are. I've got to get to news because I've got guests coming up. Document cam, please, for TV viewers. I want to go over some of these articles for people. Let's just finish up with the point that the media talks about how much they love the troops all day. They are giving them drugs, trying to get them addicted so that they can take their rights away later. On record, it's even in the news. Our government is not our government. It grows most of the drugs worldwide and then pushes the synthetic drugs on the kids. I mean, they're the drug dealers. They're the murderers. They're the killers. And the very people that are all macho and want to be men, they take men that want to be men, that the New World Order hates so much, and they use that male energy and that courage against you to help carry out wickedness worldwide, which then stirs up the wickedness in the Muslims as well so that they can have men kill each other in a bloody satanic communion. They defile all of us with the baby stem cell additives that are in hundreds of products. It's just the press being persecuted, the IRS going after people that stand for basic liberty, the open evil going on everywhere. But they don't want us to be able to focus in on that. No, it has to all be about race. It has to all be about where you're from and, oh, don't trust that person. Don't trust this person. Just trust the big globalist technocratic motherships of Paris and Moscow and Beijing and London and New York and Tel Aviv and Tokyo and all the other big technocratic systems, all designed, all bred, all fed on the blood of the innocents. Their own innocence. All these systems destroy their own people as well as whoever they're attacking because we're not their people. America didn't invade the world. America was invaded and taken over as an engine against humanity. Let me go over some of these articles so you know what we're facing. Pro-NSA editorial flails and snarks at internet users, claims those challenging NSA hate Obama. That's from TechDirt up on Infowars.com. Sibilia says if you oppose Obamacare, the head of Health and Human Services, you are somehow a racist. You can go read that article. See, now it's racist to oppose collectivism. Daily Mail, Swiss store owner at center of Oprah's racist handbag storm demands to speak to the star after she says sorry for the fuss. Again, ladies and gentlemen, all about, a handbag. Oh, a $35,000 handbag, Oprah. Just, you know, she thinks there should be higher taxes on the middle class, but she's basically exempt from taxes and, you know, worth billions of dollars. Family raided by SWAT team for weeds in Arlington, Texas. That's right. Document shows Secret Service kept tabs on Aaron Swartz. Well, yeah, they killed him. He said, I'm going to beat this. You know, these fake charges. He was the leader of Anonymous, the real Anonymous. They killed him. And now it's coming out they were all surveilling him, the FBI and Secret Service, of course. And they went to his house and they hung him. Just like they'll kill other people. Just like they'll kill Michael Hastings. Because, see, they're in charge. They're black ops. They've got a lot of power. They can go around killing heroes who stand up for humanity and have justice beating in their breast. That's very honorable and very lucky. What's lucky? It means you've run out of luck. God doesn't like you now. You're going to be judged on this life. You're not going to have to wait. That's the good part about this stuff. You get judged. You know, your kids are going to die in car wrecks and stuff. You're going to wonder why you have such bad luck. God's going to cut you and your whole family down. Let's continue here. Here's one on Noam Chomsky. After multiple denials, CIA admits to snooping on Noam Chomsky. Oh, my goodness. The CIA spying on professors in America. Who would have thunk it? That's out of Foreign Policy. Little propaganda arm of the Washington Post. MIT says smartphones will listen to everything at all times. And there's a link to the report by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology saying for your safety, they'll be on at all times. Even when there's no power, they'll have special capacitors listening to everything you're doing and feeding it into a hive mind. See, now the coming out is, by the way, they're already doing that. Whenever they want to activate them, they're doing it, even when they're off. That's in the 96 Telecommunications Act. But see, now MIT is going to tell you. Okay. Let's continue here. Is government just spying like a peeping Tom, or is it actively using that information in mischievous ways? Well, the overall spirit is a peeping Tom creeping around and wanting to invade your privacy and wanting to case you like a predator, because they are predators. But of course they're using all the data. Washington Blog then goes through how they're using it to know your profile, that you'll end up paying on credit cards when they change the rates or break the contract or jack up your AT&T bill. And they have marks. This has come out in the news. People that are known to, well, we just raised their bill, even though the contract doesn't say it, and they'll pay it. And you're known as a schmuck, a sucker, a mark. Okay? And then, of course, they know with face scanning cameras hooked into the government. That's the deal they share with all the major retailers, Target, you name it. The face scanning is shared with them, and they're given in the database. Here's this person's profile. And they can profile their entire mass on how to rip people off but make them think they're getting a good deal. And Walmart, all of them do it. And in Disney World, they admit that is a psychological Pentagon warfare operation practicing controlling people in and out of FEMA camps. But you don't know it. It's like, oh, I'm in a theme park. The whole time AI computers are watching you. This is on record, by the way, for 10 years. Tracking everything you do, everything that goes on, the cruise ships, all of it. It's all about the digital skin growing to totally enslave humanity. And the architecture is designed to enslave you. Google Gmail users have no legitimate expectation of privacy. And that's an announcement by Google. They say, of course we share all your data and give it to the government. Hackers taunts child over baby monitor, hacking into the home's internet cameras, and then saying perverted things to the child. That's big news out of KPTV. But, I mean, what do you think the government does with all these surveillance systems? Oh, I can look at my house while I'm gone. Yeah, so is the NSA. What do you have to hide? Your life. They want you dead. They want to know everything about you. They want to give it all to the AI computers that have become sentient, many believe. We're back live. Second hour coming up. Dr. Mercola. Hey, Coke says aspartame's good for you. So I thought we'd actually go over all the real studies. Hey, if you want to weigh 800 pounds, I guess, and have diabetes, sure, and go blind, I mean, yeah, sure. What alcohol does wonders for you. Yeah, it breaks down into that at 87 degrees, and our body's 98.9, isn't it? Yeah, 98.6. You know, people vary. 98.7. Boy, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm also going to get into the whole rodeo clown situation. This is all about, you know, we can abort half the black people in this country and have a eugenics operation and, take everybody's basic liberties and freedoms, but we're going to get you obsessed over a rodeo clown and have the NAACP calling for criminal investigations. So I did a video yesterday live on the air, but we have the clip of it up on Infowars.com. Alex Jones received Obama clown sensitivity training. That's satire, but it ties into the real article by Kurt Nemo. NAACP attacks rodeo stunt and political satire. Yeah, it attacks free speech is what it's doing. Drudge Report really has all the news on this over on their left-hand side, all of it together. It's pretty amazing. But you notice this is Missouri, and a bunch of other states have these truth squads that are these tattletale squads, and they tell them now, this is 5 years ago, I'm about to play the clip, that if you hear anybody criticize the president, call the police. And I know a lot of people have the Secret Service visit them for just saying they hate Obama. And again, Obama's the front man of the bad agenda. But still, folks, you have a right to criticize the president. You were born with that right. It's patriotic to love your country, but to fear and dislike your government. And so I thought I'd play a short clip of the Missouri Truth Squads And by the way, more newscasts came out. They would actually go to people's houses and threaten to arrest them if they said he was a Muslim or wasn't born here. Well, even if that's true or not true, the point is you have a right to say, you know, Barack Obama is an Easter bunny, or Barack Obama, you know, something that's true. His dad was a famous communist pornographer from Hawaii, so they created the whole fake Kenya thing and said he was born there in all his own literature. So we thought, well, you say you were born in Kenya in all your Harvard literature and all your book deals, but then now you say you aren't, and your wife's on video saying you were born there. But now you say you never said that and we're crazy. Oh, it's a bait and switch. You're really the son of a famous communist pornographer, and your mother's in the pornography publicly. So we're looking at the president's mother all bent over. It's like, but again, that's all part of just breaking America down. Just what will we put up with? It's all, you know, like Wiener up there, you know, and the whole rise of that big debacle that's finally now shrinking, thank goodness. Let's go ahead and go to this clip to remind you that this is where this comes from. The NAACP calling for the Secret Service. The bull they said was going to charge our precious one that's ripping everybody off and scamming everyone as a front man. Let's go to this clip. Here it is.
Senator Barack Obama's presidential campaign is asking Missouri law enforcement to target anyone who lies or runs a misleading television ad during the presidential campaign. This was John Mills is live at the county election board in Maplewood. He's been learning more about which members of law enforcement are getting involved in this. John, tell us more about this.
Russell, good evening. Prosecutors and sheriffs.
Let's stop there. Let's stop there.
Are joining something called
the full clip's on Infowars.com, and I'll get to it more in the next hour after Mercola joins us. But we're going to come back and break down what diet soda is really doing to you and a lot more. Joseph Mercola is going to be joining us to break down, coming up in the start of the next segment after we cover some other news, Coke to defend safety of aspartame in new ad. It'd be like a headline, you know, cigarette makers to defend safety of cigarettes in new ad. I mean, it's exactly parallel with that, except from my own research and all the medical doctors and people I've had on. I think aspartame probably statistically may even be worse than